is up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the Alpha Geek Podcast, where we embrace our geekdom and respect everyone else's. I am your homeboy, Antoine the Juggernaut Britt. Antoine Britt, or Antoine the Juggernaut on Instagram, Antoine Britt on Facebook.
And I'm Taras. Not as savvy on Instagram just yet, but you can check me out at Taras_Denisenko on Instagram. But you can also check us out at cutterrug.net if you're interested in learning how to dance in the Hampton Roads area. We specialize in ballroom and Latin dancing and anything social from country western to swing. So if you want to change your life, add some more fun and enjoyment and a new social outlet, check us out. Arthur Murray Dance Studio, Virginia Beach, cutterrug.net.
Hell yeah. And if you're in the cookie market, you want some of the best tasting protein cookies you can find, and they're gluten-free, check out cookiehunk.com. Juggernaut Cookies makes a gluten-free cookie that has 12 grams of protein, is kosher and non-GMO. Great for meal replacement, post-workout, just a sweet snack that you can feel semi-good about. Check us out at cookiehunk.com.
Sweet.
Get it out the way early so we can talk about this bullshit that's going on in the world.
Oh my God.
What's going on, man?
Not much. Hey, I just got back from Vegas.
Yes. Yeah. Tell me all about it. I can't wait. Like we talked about, your videos it makes me want to go back to Vegas.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I can't wait to go back to Vegas. We're going in the fall.
Okay.
We're going for a wedding in Vegas. So yeah, tell me about it. How was it?
It was good. So I was at the Arthur Murray Superama. It was the equivalent to World Championships. It was held at the Bellagio. Dude, Have you been to the Bellagio?
I have been to the Bellagio.
Man, they're so I posted a video on Instagram, just like they always do cool like flower things in their like main lobby area, and it was freaking awesome. I'm not a gambler, so I didn't do any of the gambling. It just hurts too much. It hurts too much to
It is painful, man. When you're winning, they say you gotta play to win, right? But they don't. When they say that, they don't tell you that it's a 90% chance you're gonna lose your ass.
Yeah,
doing that shit.
Yeah,
it's I enjoy gambling. I go in there with a plan though. Like I'll pick a number and say it's $500. Once I lose that $500, I'm done. I don't chase the losses. I just give it up and go on to something else, go to like strip club or something like that. But if I win, so everything I win, I play with my 500. Everything I win on top of that, I put it off to the side until I double that. And then I put that 500 away. So bare minimum, if I lose everything that I won, I still walk away with $500. So, or even money, which is, is okay. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Do you have a game? Like, is it blackjack? Do you play roulette?
Blackjack. Blackjack is my game. We went to a gambling trip or a golf trip, and we gambled a little bit, played at the Hard Rock down in Fort Lauderdale, and I sat at a blackjack table for about 4 hours. Just because I don't care. I'm $25, $50, whatever. I don't care. I'm just playing the table minimums. I start to get a little fuzzy, and I'll, jack it up to about 100, 150, but I never bet any bigger than that.
Yeah.
And I'll nurse that for hours, and I ended up winning like $1,700, $2,200 over the entire weekend, but $700 at one table sit down in the high stakes room of all places.
Oh, really?
Too. Yeah. I did okay. I mean, you had people in there winning and losing thousands and thousands of dollars, but I was okay with my little $1,700.
Yeah. Wow. When I was getting off the elevator, or when I was checking in, you got to go through the casino, and I just did some video stuff, and I checked out like the roulette tables, the blackjack, slot machines everywhere. I didn't realize there's high stake slot machines. I didn't go in. Yeah, it was. I was like, really? And there were people in there. There doesn't seem anything sexy about slot machines. So
no, it's not. That's like for the old lady who penny slots. That's the first thing I think of, penny slots.
Yeah.
They keep them. And like, if you go to a place like Atlantic City, those old people have like a strategy. They have a method to how they play. They play the ones and you let us know if this is true, if you had experience with this. All of the slot machines that are closest to the aisles are the one they try to get on and play, because those are the ones that have been played the most, because they're closer in the walkway. They have higher visibility, and the chances of you winning on those are greater because they're played more.
Huh.
Yeah, that's what I hear. So makes sense though.
Yeah, I wonder
Can't
like
do it.
Yeah, if there's a real strategy. Like, and years ago we used to go to Atlantic City for competitions, and that's one of the cool things about our organization, Arthur Murray's, is that when we go to competitions, they're always at like nice hotels, so we get to experience like really cool stuff. And they used to have it at Atlantic City. Now, Atlantic City isn't the nicest of places.
It is not.
So, but I just remember like just people sitting in the slot machines and just like, I felt bad for them. Like there's something like worked way too hard to make my money. And I was telling you earlier, it hurts too much. And so to lose like $50, I just
it's painful, right?
It's painful for me. Yeah. But people like, so I got a buddy that goes, he lives in Seattle, and he goes to the reservations, and he'll sit at the roulette table, and he's dropping like, he bets $100, like $100, just puts it on the table, spreads it out. But he usually walks away ahead, not by much, but he goes in a lot. So I watch him do it. I'm like, I can't.
Enough to like justify the trip to the table.
Yeah.
He wins. Okay. So yeah. And that's the thing, man. It's like, you got to be okay with going into it. You got to be okay with losing money.
Yeah.
Like the expectation has to be, you're going to lose this money. And if you win money, it's like icing on the cake. I feel like if you play, they say by the book on a lot of those games, you'll do okay. Like blackjack, don't hit on this and double down on this and things like split these. So if you play by the book, of course the cards are going to do what the cards are going to do, but they say if you play by the book, you have a better chance of winning. And that's kind of what I did when I went down, and I did okay. I was, split aces and eights and double down on 10 and so 11. So I did pretty well. I was happy with it. But you're right. I can't do the slots though. I feel like people who do the slots, they'll jump on a slot machine, and an hour later they have aged like 20 years. Like some old hag just like pulling on the arm or hitting the button on the slot machine. It's crazy.
Yeah, at least if you pull the arm, like you're getting some sort of exercise, right? There's something with that button. Literally, they're just
and
sucking on a cigarette or whatever. I don't know.
Can you even smoke in casinos? I don't think you can smoke in casinos anymore.
No.
Which I feel like that's the least thing you have to worry about when you're going in the casino.
Yeah, seriously.
I was here at the Rivers Casino in Portsmouth, and we were walking up, and a guy was walking out, and he was just like, he was pissed off. Fuck this, blah, blah. And they were trying to kick him out. I found out walking in, people were talking, he had won $100,000. Whoa! And they didn't have the money to pay him out, or they were like, we don't pay you out right here. You got to come back. We write you a check, and boom, boom, boom. Homeboy didn't want to wait for a check. He won his money right then and there. He still had his chips in his hand. They're just trying to shoo him out. They're calling the cops and everything. And I mean, he's like, fuck this place. Y'all stealing my. I mean, he was upset. He was fucking upset.
Do you know, is that casino doing well? Is it, because that's kind of a newer one, and like it's a reservation one, right? Or is it?
Yeah. Well, I know there's a partnership with a tribe. I don't know the specifics of it, but so the first month they made $30 million the first month. I don't know what it looks like after that. I have talked to people who have been there, and they say it's like a ghost town, middle of the day. I talked to some people. They say, hey, it's popping, go there, you'll have a good time. I got some people's like, don't go past 8 o'clock.
Oh.
So, yeah. Because remember I don't know if you remember this, but the first month they had a fight like every week.
Wow. Every
week. And when they first opened, the very first like 3 days they opened, they had a pipe burst and it flooded the entire casino floor. So, on top of that, and then people are fighting. There were videos online of people just like beating the shit out of each other, and it's P-Town.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm saying,
Isn't there one going to Norfolk as well?
Yeah. I think that's going to be a little bit different because the surrounding infrastructure is so much greater. You have the waterside, the bars and restaurants and hotels and everything. So I think that is probably probably going to be a more suitable location for it. And Portsmouth will probably blow up or will grow up a little bit. They built a town center, a yard house, and things like that there. So they're building around it, which is going to be the flip of what they're going to do in Norfolk. Norfolk, they already have, it's right next. It's going to be right next to the stadium. So over there by Harbor Park.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So, there is going to be so much more to do even leading up to that. So I think it'll be a little bit better fit because, the goal when you build out a casino like that, the goal is to keep as many people there as you can, right? You don't want people going out and going to other restaurants, and you want them to spend their money there. But people are fickle. Inevitably, they're gonna get sick of these four walls, and they're gonna want to go do something else. So
do you know
if
it's going to be a straight casino, or is it going to be a venue where they can host like events and?
Yep, it's going to be. They're going to have a venue, casino, multiple restaurants, bars, clubs. It's going to be one-stop shop. That's what they say. So we shall see. Yeah. I'll spend a little money there for sure.
That was a cool thing about Bellagio or any of these where we have these events. They have to have huge ballrooms, but it'd be cool if the Norfolk Casino could host fights.
Oh, hell yeah.
So
hell yeah. That'd be awesome. Listen, Norfolk Casino, who's ever running that show. I mean, because it's just revenue.
Right.
You already, you got the liquor license, obviously. You got food, and it's your property. That's an easy $30,000 to $60,000 night profit.
Yeah.
After your expenses are paid. And that's on a smaller show.
Yeah.
Do a bigger show, and you never know. They might UFC Norfolk at the blah 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 casino.
Yeah.
So.
Is there venues for like UFC stuff or boxing in Hampton Roads?
Yeah. So they do them at the Norfolk Scope.
Okay.
The ODU Stadium, the Ted Concert Center, Hampton Coliseum. Yeah, they've had them at basically every large venue around here. It just comes down to a promoter and the facility coming to some agreement. The thing about that is it's so hard for promoters to make money in that environment because the venue usually runs the concessions and the beer, food, alcohol, and all that stuff. And if you don't have that, you have to rely on your sponsors and your ticket sales. And it's hard to make your nut doing that, man.
Yeah.
You gotta for a successful promoter to have events, you got to own the facility, you got to own the liquor license, own the concessions. If you do that, you can do really well. If you don't have that, then it's an uphill battle for sure.
Yeah. Have you been following the Bud Light thing with Dana? Like he was like something about show the paperwork or something, or is there like, is he part owner of Anheuser-Busch now or something? Or
man, I don't think he is, but if he is, well, shit, good on you. Hell yeah, Dana. Look, listen, Dana White, if he's nothing else, he's a moneymaker. He knows how to make money. He knows how to generate revenue. He's proven it over and over and over again. And if the Bud Light deal, he would not take the Bud Light deal if it wasn't going to be lucrative for the UFC. No matter what, a lot of people were saying, well, they lost the Mickey's deal and they lost the Modelo deal, so Bud Light is like like a B team type thing. But Bud Light is Bud Light. No one's going to outsell Bud Light. Budweiser, Anheuser, you're not going to outsell them.
Yeah.
They just, no matter with all the stuff that's going on with the cans, and it's still Bud Light.
Yeah.
This is like saying like McDonald's make a bad burger, and now everybody's going to always fucking go to McDonald's. So it's, it is what it is. And he's no idiot. So it had to be lucrative for the UFC. And at the end of the day, the more money the UFC makes, the more of that trickles down to the fighters. And that's the biggest thing. Fuck, the internet just goes wild with this shit sometimes, man. And like in the majority of those people who are talking shit about it have no idea what it takes, the moving parts that it takes to get a deal like that going.
Yeah.
And so, it's crazy.
Yeah, I wonder who approached too. If Bud Light approached Dana, or he approached them, or like how those massive business dealings actually come about. That's so interesting.
I would probably say that the UFC approached Bud Light. He's like, look, this is what happened. You just came off a shit show. we need a sponsor. We want a beer sponsor. You know, our audience is closely connected to your client base. Let's make something happen. And it's smart for both sides. Yeah. It really is. I mean, it's beer, you know, beer and fighting.
Yeah.
just get corn nuts, get a corn nut sponsorship and you're golden.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's funny. Like a couple of buddies of mine, they're like, hunting guys, and they're just like, they still drink Bud Light. They're like, whatever. They're like, it's like the loudest voices. Like nobody really listens to.
Nobody listens, man. And that's the thing. It's like we, as a society, we just forget shit so quickly. Yep. And this whole thing with the cans went down, and now nobody gives a fuck again because the can is like, okay, quick fix. Let's take it off and let's keep selling Bud Light. I mean, nobody gives a shit. So
yeah. But speaking of fighting.
Yeah.
So there was just a big fight, and I think that was going to be our topic for today, right? That
was going to be our topic. So just real quickly, there was a UFC this past weekend. Derek Lewis lost in a snooze fest. It was kind of one of those things. Derek Lewis, they just need to match him up with strikers. Like match him up. And I know you can't do that, but you know, as a former fighter myself and a fan of mixed martial arts, we want to see fireworks, man. It's like nobody cared that Mark McGuire was, you know, taking steroids when he was hitting like, you know, 1,000-yard home runs and like putting him over the fence. But as soon as that same body goes into a football field and crushes someone else down, there's a problem. We can't have that shit. And this is, you know, it's the same thing, you know. You want Derek Lewis to fight because he's one of the money makers for the UFC. He's huge on social media. People love him. He's a fan favorite. And so you want to match him up with people that, first and foremost, you're going to get a good fight out of. I know, again, you can control that based on the rankings and who is contending with who and what number these guys are here. But in an ideal world, you wouldn't put him in a fight with someone who's a ground guy, who's gonna try to take him down, who's gonna avoid getting hit, gonna try to take him down and just like wrestle fuck him for the entire fight. So I guess that is what it is. So
I was just listening to the Joe Rogan podcast with Elon Musk. Did you listen to the most recent one?
I didn't listen to the most recent one.
Oh my God! So Elon wants to fight Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
That's still like a thing. And he was talking about weight classes. And it's funny, like watching Elon Musk talk to Joe Rogan about fighting and saying that there's a reason for weight classes because all Elon would have to do was lay on Mark Zuckerberg. And
Joe said that?
No, Elon said that.
He did? Okay.
He's like, I got this technique called the what he said, the whale, where I just like lay on him. And Joe Rogan's like saying, he's like, well, they have jiu-jitsu where a 140-pound guy will fight like a 200-pound guy, and he's like, the lighter weight class can actually beat him. And Elon was like, I don't know about that. Like, right? Like,
stay in your lane, Elon. Stay in your lane, dude.
Yeah,
I want to see it though.
Yeah,
it would be horrific, but I would see it. I would want to see it. And Zuckerberg has been training. He's training with like Stylebender and training with some other good guys, and he's ripped. Yeah. He's ripped. Evidently got hurt training though.
Oh, really? I
heard he got hurt training. He pulled something or sprained something. But yeah, he's ready for a fight. Like Elon Musk, like he's ready for the buffet. He don't give a shit. He just, dude, it's crazy that a guy that smart who has been that intelligent his entire life just think he has a hack for everything. Yeah. There's no hack for fighting, dude. This dude is going to come out and beat the shit out of you.
Was it, I think it was like Hoist Gracie. They were talking about, I don't know if it was Gracie, but he's like, you could be a black belt, but as soon as you get punched in the face, you become a purple belt.
Yeah, brown belt, purple belt. Yeah. Oh yeah, man. It's, you know, it's a lot of there's a lot of factors that come into being a successful martial artist or mixed martial artist. And like, I just want to see it because Elon, he'll get his ass kicked just based on what I'm seeing now. But you never know. He might be a ninja.
He might be.
He might have, been taking ninjutsu since he was 3 years old.
Ninjutsu.
Down there in South
Takes
Africa.
us back to the 90s, the movies in the 90s of all the ninja movies. Return of the Ninja.
Hell yeah.
But he was talking about that he's been training in, he said he did karate and taekwondo, and he's done some jujitsu, and it sounds like he's been cross training. But I mean, y'all have seen Elon. He just
that dude, he's not built for speed. Let's just say that. And yeah, you gotta come correct, Elon. You can't go out here and look like an asshole because I mean, do you want to be the guy that says you got your ass kicked by Mark Zuckerberg? You can't even like talk like it just was an accident. You at work, you like, man, yeah, this shit was crazy this weekend. I got in a fight and this dude beat my ass, but I slipped on the curb. His sun was in my eyes. Let me show you a picture of him. And this Mark Zuckerberg, or a guy that looks like Mark Zuckerberg. You're like, you lost to that dude? What the fuck? What the fuck is the matter with you?
Oh man.
Yeah, so but yeah, the Francis, and we didn't get a chance to talk about Francis and Ngannou and Tyson Fury.
Who Tyson Fury looks like Mark Zuckerberg or Elon Musk. I mean, come on.
The Gypsy King, that dude, he's one of those guys. He's just so talented and he's so good at the way he boxes. No one else can box that way.
Yeah.
And it's so like awkward, but the dude is just so talented. He's light on his feet. It's for somebody, he weighs like what? 270 pounds, 75 pounds, something like that. And he's that dude's so light on his feet. He moves so well, and that was really the only thing that saved them against Francis. And everybody's talking shit about the decision, because he got dropped in the fourth round, I believe, third or fourth round. He got dropped, and he got up, and because Francis is a powerhouse, and that dude fires rockets. But you got to remember, this is
278. Oh my God, he's 6'9". 278.
How big that's a big motherfucker. That's a big motherfucker right there, dude. And he's fast. That's the thing. And that's how he kind of just outpoints. And that's what he did against Francis. He got dropped. He came back and he just continued to fight his fight. And so, worst case scenario, if he lost that round, that's a 10-8 round. That's the worst that round can get for him. But if he's winning 9-8 rounds the rest of the fight, then that's a winning scorecard, and that's how he won. And people are just kind of are uneducated about the scoring of boxing. The scoring of boxing can be improved for sure, though. But based on the current scoring structure, I think Tyson Fury won the fight for sure.
Yeah, I looked at the CompuBox numbers, and he definitely was ahead in points. But when he got dropped, do you think that, because I watched the video over and over again when he landed on the canvas and his face was just like
oh shit. He's like, oh shit.
This hurt.
Yeah, he caught him in that, Francis caught him on the side of the head, which forces kind of that pendulum thing with the brain. And as soon as the brain hits the side of the skull, the body's going down.
Yeah.
And so luckily he was able to recover, and he came back and he was good. But yeah, I mean, just the amount of force generated from that right hand on the side of his dome, yeah, you're not surviving that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna go down from that for sure.
So you say Tyson's an awkward boxer,
right?
Francis, is he skilled? Because I heard that he was an awkward. I mean, I watched him. He looked good.
Oh yeah,
but people say he's kind of awkward as well.
I think he still carries like his hands were a little wider than a traditional boxer. I think the reason for that because you do fight MMA so long, and your arms are wider because of the threat of the takedown, right? And so when we transition into MMA, and people who are more like I was more hands driven, I was more of a striker, and we're taught that you have to keep a little bit wider hand placement, because if a shot comes in, then it's easier to transition to defend the shot. So I think it was a little bit of that. But the dude also has a wide ass back too. Oh my God. And so his arms are going to be carried a little bit wider. He was a lot more squared than a traditional boxer. Usually boxing coaches teach to have a little bit more of a bladed stance. It's harder to hit. You're a little bit more narrow. But I mean, the dude, he did great. He did awesome. I mean, no other MMA transfusion has come over and done as well as he's done in boxing.
Yeah.
Nobody else. I think if he was busier with his jab and let the jab go a little bit more, I think he wins that fight. But Tyson just outworked him.
Yeah.
He just outworked him. He didn't hurt. It never had him hurt. Never had him in danger. Just outworked him the entire fight, and that's how he won.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Francis, I also on the Joe Rogan podcast, they were talking about Francis and his background and his upbringing. Like, that dude was built to fight. Like, yeah. I guess he worked in the sand mines and
the salt mines.
The salt mines.
Yeah, that dude. Yeah. Yeah.
They were talking like he was like straight up Conan, like in the original Conan, where he's like turning that turnstile, and just like developing. And he said that he's the hardest puncher. Like, Francis is the hardest puncher on record. So
really, I get it. I see it. But the thing about that is, there's a lot of fights for Francis. He had Joshua, Wilder. Yeah. I mean, he had. There's some good fight. Even I'm not sure what's going on with the Puerto Rican fighter. Crap. Oh, I'm sorry. Cuban. He's Cuban. He just lost to Wilder. He lost to Wilder. Ortiz. I mean, there's a lot of fights for Francis, and honestly, right now, I see him winning all of those fights. I see him beating Joshua. I feel like Joshua's kind of one foot out the door with boxing. Yeah. I think from a mental standpoint, I mean, he's a physical specimen, but from a mental standpoint, I think he's kind of, the sun is starting to set on that. Wilder, he came back after the Fury loss, but he really hasn't had like a really big challenge yet. I think Wilder and Ngannou is a great fight, great fight. And plus, Wilder's a lot more of a showman when it comes to promoting fights. He talks shit. He's loud. He's boisterous. He's kind of that anti-hero type of personality. So I see that being a good lead up, for a fight like that. So I also heard that Tyson thought he was going to walk right through Francis, and that this was more of a warm-up fight because he's fighting somebody in January or February. Yeah, he has a title fight coming up. Yeah. So, man, I don't think he thought that. Maybe it might sound good. Yeah. But Francis, man, everybody knew, like, there was a real danger of Francis knocking Tyson out. Like, people like, dude, this power is ridiculous. Yeah. And it is. I think once he got past the 4th, 5th round, the danger of that knockout starts to drop drastically, just because your body's a little bit more fatigued, your arms, holding your arms up, their arms a little heavier, so that drops. And plus, he puts everything. He takes your soul when he hits you. Yeah, he puts you on another planet, dude. And but that generates a lot of force, and it takes a lot of torque, and it takes a lot of energy for him to do that. So I think the fight, I wasn't surprised the way the fight went at all. It was kind of expected. I didn't think he was going to drop him at all, though. I thought he was going to maybe get him in trouble a couple of times, but Tyson's head movement and mobility is so good that I thought he would be able to stay out of it. But he caught him. He got him.
Yeah. Wow.
It's a good fight.
Yeah. So when it comes to like the talk, and I remember you telling me when you walked into the UFC office when you were, was it an audition?
Yeah, for the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah. But I guess like Tyson said, I'm gonna be your professor or something like that to Francis, and then when he knocked him down, he's like, you're not a good, like, you're a terrible teacher or something like that or whatever.
He's like dancing from him. Yeah, dude. This showmanship that's 50% of the game. Yeah, you got to make people want to see you. People want to watch you. Yeah, and remember that none of these boxing fans knew very little about Francis Ngannou. Yeah, and for him to come in, who's this, another MMA guy that's going to come and get his ass kicked? But he was like, hold my butt light. I'm gonna come out here and wreck shop, and he did. I mean, he did. I can't imagine because Tyson Fury is not only a prize fighter; he's a champion. He's WBC champion, WBA champion, IBF. Like, that dude is he's a Hall of Famer. Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer, and first fight out of the gate, you push him to a decision, a split decision at that. I mean, come on, man. You don't get any better than that. And besides winning the fight, and the thing about it is boxing is corrupt as shit. And so it was going to be hard for Francis to come out there with a decision anyway.
Yeah.
You know, he would have, for a guaranteed win, he would have had to knock him out.
Yeah.
And, you know, he was, he got close, but he didn't get that part of it done. But no one could have performed better in that situation than Francis did.
I saw an Instagram video, or somebody posted Mike Tyson's reaction, and they were like, "Mike, what do you think of the results? What do you think? Do you think he got robbed? Do you think he got robbed?" And Tyson just looks at the camera and he's like, "It's boxing," and like insinuating that
it's boxing, dude. Yeah, no, it is. And man, there's been suspicion that the boxing has been not the fairest sport for a long time. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, I don't want to get suicided out here, but no, and everybody has, you know, the suspicions of, you know, certain decisions and backdoor dealings and stuff like that when it comes down to boxing. But you know, like for Francis to come in and win a decision, it would have been tough. He would have to like glaringly won almost every round to walk out with a decision there. It had to be like zero doubt that he won that fight. And for him to do that against somebody as high level as Tyson would have been tough. He would have had to knock him out to win that fight, I think. Yeah. Do
you think Tyson Fury was genuinely, like, when he got knocked down, was like, oh, shit?
Yeah, he was like, "Oh shit, game on!" Yeah, you got it. And you even noticed after he got knocked down, he kept his distance for a while, but then he got on his bike. He was just moving, and the fact that Tyson Fury can move that well for that long at that size is abnormal. Like, a guy that big should not be able to move like that for that long. And great cardio. Yeah. He did that shit for 12 rounds. Was it 12 or 10 rounds? Either one. Still, you know, he did that shit for a very prolonged period of time.
Yeah. He definitely does not look like he's got physique though. Like he looks soft, but the fact that he did that, like, no, I'm saying that with all respect.
Tyson, you heard that shit? He said you look soft, bro. Yeah. Come get him.
I've had some boxing lessons. I know what I'm talking about. I'm like Elon Musk right now.
He gonna be at your house tonight. Like, I know where you laugh. I don't even know that was an Irish accent, or I don't know what that was.
Oh man. Do you think, like, so guys that switch over, like Conor McGregor's fight with Mayweather, do you think Conor tagged Mayweather ever where Mayweather was like, "Ooh, I got caught"? No, nothing.
No. It was that was purely a money grab for Conor.
Yeah,
that was really what, like, just the fact that at that stage, like, Conor really set the bar. He set the groundwork for all of these MMA fighters to be able to go over to boxing. And just the fact that he was able to talk himself into a fight with the greatest boxer of all time with no boxing matches. First of all, from a legal standpoint, the commission wouldn't even let that happen. The boxing commission usually says, okay, it can't be more than like a 10 or 15 fight discrepancy between fighters, you know, to put them in a fight together. Conor talked his way through all of that shit.
Jeez.
And then he goes in and performs well enough to make people think that this can be done.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think anyone thought that Conor was going to win the fight. No serious boxing guy or person thought that Conor would win the fight. But he made it competitive enough to where people weren't like just turning off the TV, like, fuck this shit, you know? And he made $100 million.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
It's like he set the state of that MMA fighter going over to boxing. He made that possible, because if that would have went bad and Conor would have got his ass kicked or got hurt in the process, or just had a terrible showing, you would have never saw it again.
Yeah.
Not for the foreseeable future anyway.
So when it comes to money, why do you think, well, first, is there more money in boxing than MMA? And if so, why? Because MMA to me seems more entertaining and more marketable, because it's if you're not educated in boxing, then you don't really I mean, it could be boring. Boxing could be boring.
Well, yes and no. So low-level boxer, when you first go pro, you're making, and this is the average guy, you got some people who are coming from the Olympics and stuff, and they're kind of outliers, so they make a little bit more money. But the average low-level boxer, they're making anywhere from $100 to $300 per round. And most beginning boxing matches are anywhere from 4 to 6 rounds, like beginning pro. Okay. MMA low level, if you're fighting for a pretty decent organization, i.e. the UFC, PFL, Bellator, stuff like that, you're making a few thousand, 10 grand, 15 grand. So at that level, you're doing pretty well. Now, when you start to become the elite in MMA in comparison to boxing, you're making way more money. And I think the reason for that is because boxing is governed by a bunch of different organizations. There's nobody governing the UFC. The UFC governs itself. Of course, they have some checks and balances with, USADA and whatever commission they're working with at whatever state they're in. But the UFC tells, how the fighters how much they're going to get paid, when you're going to fight, what you're going to do, who you're going to fight, all this stuff. In boxing, the commission tells you everything, and each belt has a commission. The WBC has their own organization. WBA has their own, the IBF has their own. And if you're a champion in those organizations, they tell the promoter what these fighters will and won't do, who and will they can and can't fight. And so there's a lot more accountability on that side. And everyone's hands are in. Yeah. And so everybody's going to get paid. Yeah. And so that's why the fighters get, and there's a lot more sponsorship money. You're pulling sponsorships from multiple different entities, boosting from multiple different entities. The UFC wants sponsors. They got to go out and find those sponsors. Still, when you go to a boxing match, or especially when we talk about like Tyson versus Holyfield, people call the promoter and say, look, we'll give you, this many millions of dollars to, boxing is just so big. And even still to this day, when you get like the big boys, the Canelos and the Mayweathers and the Pacquiaos and all the big guys, the Errol Spencers and stuff like that, and Crawfords, these guys or these fighters are gonna demand a premium, because if they're a champion in one of these organizations, that organization demands a premium. And so and there's cost on the belt too. If you're a champion in IBF, the fighter has to pay for that belt. They pay for that. Really? It's like $5 grand, 10 grand a year just to be a belt holder. WBC, WBA, IBF, whatever. There's a cost yearly that the fighter has to pay for that.
Huh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So, as the fighter pays out more money, it has to be legitimized by him making more money. Yeah. Right. So
if he doesn't pay the fee, does he lose the belt?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. They'll fine you. Yeah. And at the end of the day, it's a year. It's annually. So if the fighter doesn't defend his title within a certain amount of time, he loses the belt anyway. Right. So it ends up working out.
Shoot, I had a follow-up question. Don't remember what it was now.
Yeah, it's nuts. Boxing, it has become, the reason the fighters make so much more money, because there are way more moving parts. Yeah. And I feel like in order for the UFC doesn't have to do that. The UFC is owned by, was it Endeavor? Mm-hmm. So, they're printing money. Yeah. They're printing money. Like,
what about, because I heard there was some controversy about Golden Boy Productions. Mm-hmm. So oh my God, I just forgot his name.
Oscar De La Hoya,
yeah. Is he like a sketch dude, or is he like trying to...
You mean besides the cocaine and women's lingerie?
Oh my God, I remember that.
Do you remember that? Is he a sketchy promoter? Listen, every boxing promoter is a sketchy promoter. Okay. Like Don King, Canelo, Oscar De La Hoya, Floyd Mayweather. You can't make that level of money and not do some underhanded shit. Yeah. It's just the way it is. Yeah. It's boxing.
So what about Dana though? Because Dana gets a really bad rap, but he seems like he tries to take care of the fighters.
He does, and that's the thing. That's another reason why while the UFC doesn't make as much money, or MMA as a whole doesn't make as much money as professional boxing on a higher level, it's so much cleaner. Like the dealings are so much cleaner because it's straightforward. Hey, this is the UFC. This is the card we got going on, right? This is how much the fighter's going to get paid. These are the sponsors we're looking for. Check the box. If you can't check the box, then move on, you know? In boxing, they find a way to fit you in that fucking box.
Yeah.
You know? So, and he tries to take care of the fighters. But again, it's like, you know, having, you know, one car dealership in comparison to having like a franchise of, you know, a chain of car dealerships. You only have so many resources to pull from, you know, and you can only have so many live shows. You can only have so many pay-per-views. You only have so many fighters on a roster. There's only so much efficiency you can have. So, you know, I mean, as far as what they're doing, no one does it better. No MMA organization does it better than Dana does it. Than UFC does it. So
he seems like he's really got it figured out. When Mike Tyson went under Don King, was that what the beginning of his downfall? Do you think Don King poisoned him?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Because Don King's a greedy fuck, you know, and you can't not be in again. And Don King was a crook before he even got into boxing, you know. So, and that's Mike Tyson being a young, impressionable kid, you know, youngest world champion, you know, 21 years old, walking around with millions of dollars. He fucking around, got a tiger. He's playing with a tiger like it's a Pomeranian in his front yard. He got 10 Bentleys and shit. He was easy picking. He was easy picking for Mike Tyson, man. And by the time Mike Tyson caught up to it, Don King had stole over $30 million from Mike Tyson. And this was at a time where $30 million is not nearly as much as it's worth, you know, today. You know, like $30 million back then, that's a whole lot more money. Yeah. You know, if you hear about somebody losing $30 million in a bad business deal, you're like, well, damn, well, you shouldn't have been fucking around. Yeah. You hear it in the 80s, you're like, holy shit, what the fuck was he doing? He lost $30 million. But I mean, he would do like he would like take Mike Tyson to dinner, buy Mike Tyson a car, shit like that, and then charge Mike Tyson for it. You know, shit like that. And he did that over years. He would take vacations, hotel rooms, elaborate dinners, and things like that. And the whole time, Mike Tyson are thinking, oh, these are gifts from my promoter because my promoter's making 30%. Yeah. And nope. He's paying. You're paying for this shit. You're paying for your own Bentley that was supposed to be a gift, shit like that. And then, you know, like the whole Robin Gibbons thing happened, and he took a beating on that shit. You know, it was just a bad. You know but if it wasn't him, it would have been somebody else. Yeah. You know, Mike Tyson was just the guy. He was before Customato died. He had like structure. No matter, he can be crazy Mike Tyson, he can do all the other bullshit that he wanted to, but when it came to boxing and everything surrounding boxing, he was straight as a fucking arrow. And when Cuss died, it turned into like it's the Don King show now. You know, and so it was bad. But you gotta align yourself with a promoter, because if you don't, then you're like out on this raft out in the ocean trying to find these little bullshit fights. And I don't think that ever would have been Mike Tyson's problem because he was so talented, but it's so many fighters that try to do it independently on their own, and they end up just being like food for these guys that do have promoters and do get good setup fights. And so, you know,
tell you though, Mike Tyson, he's come out on the other side a better person. I mean, he dealt with a lot of shit, but now he's like, I listen to him on podcasts and watch like YouTube videos today training people, and the dude is like he still looks like he can fight. He's still got like, he's still coherent and he's still got his mind about him, and he's funny as hell.
Mike Tyson's hilarious. And I think he's just come into comfortable. He's being comfortable with the man he is and the skin that he's in, you know. Like, it's cool. We all know you're Mike Tyson, the badass, the killer, the crusher. We already know that. But you don't have to be that anymore. You know, you can be whatever the fuck you want to be, and people are going to love you regardless, because we admire what you did So just enjoy it. Enjoy growing as a person. Now he has the marijuana company, one of the biggest marijuana companies in the United States, actually.
Oh, really?
Mike Tyson Ranches is huge. Yeah. And, the dude loves to smoke weed. He got, he loves his kids. Yeah. I think he got grandkids now. Yeah. So, I mean, the dude's just loving life, man.
Yeah.
But I met him a couple years ago at an event that they had here in Hampton. And it's, even though he was like being super nice, it's still intimidating. Like, this is fucking Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I was on Hangover. Like, I still got it, Yeah, he's just intimidating, man. He's shorter than me. He's about the same size, but a little shorter than me. And he's just, and nothing, when you walk up to him, if he wasn't Mike Tyson, you would think it was just another older dude that was in pretty good shape. You know what I'm saying? But like, it's like some people you meet and you're like, holy shit, you can't help but fanboy over it.
Oh yeah.
And I don't consider myself like a fanboy. I think people are kind of on the same level. We all put our pants on one leg at a time.
Yeah.
But there's a couple people like Michael Jordan, Mike Tyson, like shit like that. He's like, holy shit, that was fucking Michael Jordan or Mike Tyson. Yeah. There's a couple people. Like, I guess I think I have to imagine that's how it is meeting or how it would have been meeting like Elvis.
Oh yeah.
Like Elvis, because really, how many albums did Elvis have?
A lot.
But like major albums. Did he have a lot of major albums, like top 40 award winning? I think he only had like 2 or 3. I know he had like beyond like the Christmas albums and shit like that.
I thought,
but I don't think Elvis had that many. He had a bunch of hits, but I don't think he had that many albums.
I'm gonna look that up right now. It's worth the Google.
Yeah, right. And I'm not talking about the stuff that's remastered or remade or covered or or special albums like Elvis Easter album.
I think there's a lot of that stuff because it just
there's a bunch of that shit, but stuff that he went in and recorded and really.
Well, Elvis didn't write any of his own music.
None of it.
He was he contributed to it, but he's not a songwriter. He had songwriters for him. I think now I may not be 100% correct on that, but I do remember hearing that he was not a songwriter.
Really?
And it's why he got a lot of bad rap, because people say all he did is just steal music and he just redid it. And,
but didn't know that.
Yeah.
I think I do remember a story. I don't know how true it is that Little Richard he wrote for Elvis.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
That was crazy.
Did Elvis write any of his own music? And if anybody knows anything about Elvis, feel free to make some comments.
Let us know.
I'm pretty sure he didn't write his own music. Yeah.
Did you watch that movie?
I did not yet. Yeah. I heard it's amazing.
It's awesome. And that's another situation to where he got, half of his net earnings were taken. What's the guy that the Colonel? Was it the Colonel?
The Colonel, yep.
Yeah. So half that dude's money and pissed it away at the casino.
Yep.
Isn't that crazy, man?
So crazy.
And this dude worked his ass off. But people fucking loved Elvis, though.
Oh, yeah.
He was Michael Jackson before Michael Jackson was Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
He throw his crotch in your face and he's like, oh, shit. Like, you got to have, like, some masterful dick. You can just, like, throw it in somebody's face. Still pants on. Pants on. You might get a little imprint or something, but you're not really seeing anything. And you just fucking throw that thing in somebody's face and they're like, oh shit, I want to have your babies. What kind of, even if you're like, have a couple drinks and you're just in the moment and Elvis walks on stage and the first thing, because in that movie, the first thing he does is like slide up to the front of the stage, crotch first, and just starts the song. And the room just stops. Every female in the room just like a mom.
This isn't supposed to be happening.
It was so crazy.
Wow.
And all these are like older dudes, because I think he performs at like this like sawgrass, like bluegrass type of. That's the majority of the music back then. Was more of that like kind of honky tonk kind of, and he came and I don't know what song he did, but he like changed the landscape
totally.
And these like women were just like it that saying like men want to be me, women want to be with me, I probably came from Elvis.
Yeah.
Or that dude was like phenomenal. And then I think that was the difference between him and like a Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was like the biggest entertainer ever, but he never had that like masculine energy like that fucking like I want to be. But no one was ever like, I want to be Michael Jackson. You know, nobody was never that guy. Like he was just so far beyond. But when you think about what, especially back then, what like a man was, it wasn't Michael Jackson.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? So
it was Elvis Presley and John Wayne. And even when I go coaching the studios, or I try to like coach like the masculine look of a dancer, I'm like, you just got to pair up Elvis and John Wayne. Like,
really?
Just the the Elvis swag and the John Wayne attitude of just being like, I don't know why I just see that, but that's the thing. Yeah.
Keep the change, you filthy animal. What was that? Was that Home Alone? Was that a John Wayne movie? And they did it on Home Alone. Keep the change, you filthy animal. Man. But yeah, man, back to the whole Mike Tyson thing. I think boxing is just in itself, it needs some checks and balances.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, everybody's making money. It's big. It ain't going to change at this point.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
You know, fuck it.
I don't know if you want to take a couple minutes, but when you told me the story of when you walked into the UFC office for the audition, I don't know if you've ever shared that story.
I don't think I have.
Dude, you've got to. It was so good.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know I was on the 8th season of Ultimate Fighter. And the reason that people don't know that is because I left early with an injury. But leading up to being on the Ultimate Fighter, which was on Spike TV at the time, that tells you how long ago this shit was. It's like 2008. So we did the first round of interviews in where you had to send a video in. And we did like this crazy video. I'm wearing an elephant thong, you know, like... And my buddy Joey is wearing like a leopard print thong with an afro, with a fake afro on, and we do this whole thing. Well, it was funny enough to get me invited to the interview. On top of that, at the time I had an 8-0 pro record. So it and the majority of those wins were by first round knockout. So I was kind of like an easy pick. So I go and they put us in a hotel at the Palace Station Hotel. It was owned by the Fertittas at the time.
Okay.
And I meet a couple of the other fighters. They send me over to the interviews, and I walk into the room, and there's a huge table with all these Spike TV execs. They say, go sit over there, and I go sit down at the very end of the table, and I assume he was some big wig or somebody making major decisions. He was like, why should we pick you in front of anyone else? I was like, if you don't pick me, I'm gonna beat your ass, and I'm gonna beat the ass of everyone at this fucking table. If you know what's good for you. And everyone's laughing, and they have a good time with it. And so we go back and forth about my record a little bit more. And he's like, all right, you can leave, go to your room, you'll be getting a call soon. So as I walk out, I like make eye contact with everybody and stare at them as I'm walking out the door. Like, don't break eye contact. If you look at me, I'm not breaking eye contact with you, and I'm walking real slow, and they're just like, some people are laughing, but some people are like uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And so as I get to the door, there's like a plate of like bagels, and I grab one and I rip some bagel off, and I'm continue to stare as I'm walking out the door until the door closes. And I got out, and I'm thinking, all right, I hope that was enough. And it was. I got a call. I got home, and I got a call about not even a month later.
Wow.
Saying, and it's weird. It's funny because right before I got the call, I took the test to be Virginia Beach police officer and passed it. And so that was plan B if I didn't get that. So yeah, man.
Wow.
Yep. Ultimate Fighter.
That's cool. I remember you just saying, he's like, I did some janky shit when I went in there.
I was trying to be as big as asshole because a buddy of mine, Mir Sadala, was on it this season before, and he was just be memorable.
Yeah.
Just be memorable. I don't care what it is. Just be memorable. And I was trying to think, all right, I'm already a pretty big dude, so people are intimidated by me, just generally speaking. And I remember in high school, I had a kid and he was fucking with me. He wasn't being serious, but I was a little bit on the chunkier side my freshman year in high school. And every time I would walk past the table, he's like, don't take my food. every day, don't take my food. Like, bitch, I ain't gonna take your food. So I remember that. I channeled that bully that would go and take somebody's grub.
Yeah.
And that was it.
We Wendy and I actually auditioned to be on a reality show. We didn't audition. We sent in a tape for The Amazing Race.
Oh shit.
Yeah, we didn't get on, but we used to be so into that show. I didn't realize that show was still on.
You want to be like, you want to do physical shit. You want to be. I don't be on the show. I just like real world, like.
Oh yeah.
Where I just sit in a room and just talk shit.
Yeah,
drink.
I was all about we were all about. Now the one thing that Wendy would not do is the food challenges, but all the other stuff, like the food stuff, I suppose I would try it. But like at the time, they were like getting in tanks and like driving tanks and doing physical challenges. I'm totally like more into, but
like eating like shit like snails and like shit that you're not supposed to eat.
Yeah, like gross stuff.
Oh yeah. See, I don't know. I don't know about that one either.
Yeah.
But what's the prize on The Amazing Race?
I think it was $1 million at the time.
Shit, I eat that shit. Shit, Bulls balls. I remember Fear Factor. They had the Bulls balls.
Yeah,
and Joe Rogan would make them eat that shit. They had to eat fucking like cow cum and
gross
and like meal, like whatever shit. What's the green worms that come out of the tree? What are those things called?
What, just like little inchworms?
Yeah, but they're thick. They're fat. Grub worms. Is that it looks like a big green grub worm, and I remember watching one show and they had to eat that shit.
Yeah, I think I know what they're called. Man, I gotta look it up. But we had those on our tomato plants. Actually, they're like huge, like big, thick, nasty looking green things. Yeah.
Wait, but how much? And Fear Factor was like $20,000 if you went. It wasn't a lot of money, dude. And like this drink. Here's the semen of a cow from Idaho. What the fuck?
Yeah.
But with the Bulls balls, the Rocky Mountain oysters, that's actually a thing.
Oh,
like
really?
They slice them up and they fry them, and they don't taste bad.
Yeah. Oh,
I've had them.
You've had them?
Rocky Mountain oysters? Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not bad at all, dude. I mean, it's part of the cow or the buffalo or bull, whatever the fuck it is.
Wow.
But man, the eating challenges are the worst, man. The cockroaches and shit. You ever watch Dave Chappelle show?
Yeah.
When Joe Rogan did Fear Factor on Dave Chappelle.
No, I didn't.
Oh man, it's one skit that he does when Dave Chappelle is the Tyrone Biggums character, the crackhead. Oh. He walks across the coals, but his feet are already so fucked up that he doesn't feel the heat.
Oh my god!
Oh man, that show was way before his time.
Dave Chappelle, yeah,
way before his time.
Genius. Didn't he got burnt out on that, right? Or he
just rolled out on him.
Yeah.
Gangster move. He took. He's like, fuck your 30 million.
Yeah.
And he just rolled out, went to Africa, got jacked. Came back and now he's bigger than ever.
Yeah.
He's bigger than ever now. Yeah. I mean, he writes his own ticket. Netflix just rolled a truck of money up to his house and just dumped it in his driveway. And the dude is he's just killing it.
Yeah.
And that's how that's what you want to do, right? You want fuck you money.
Yeah.
You want money, enough money to where you can do what you want, say what you want, write your own ticket. And that dude says everything. It doesn't matter what it is.
Nope.
Gay, LGBTQ, black, white. There's like nothing that's off limits.
Right.
Nothing is off limits. And he's one of the few comedians, if not only comedian, that can get away with it.
Yep. Because
he is kind to everyone. He comes from a genuine place, and he doesn't have a dog in the fight. He doesn't say, all right, I'm gonna make fun of gay people because of this, or I'm gonna make fun of black people or white people because of this. I'm just gonna make fun of you. Yeah. There's no reason.
Yeah.
You're just gonna get it like everyone else gets it.
Yeah.
And Dave Chappelle's that dude, man.
Isn't that the whole point of comedy though? It's like when they're trying to cancel like comedians for whatever, like who is it? Kevin Hart was going to get canceled, and I think he backed off of stuff. And
he did. He apologized, which is the worst thing you can do, because then if you apologize for it, then it shows people that you weren't as devoted to that idea as we thought you were when you said it.
Yeah.
Right. And that just makes people, it's like blood in the water now. Yeah. Just like when Justin Timberlake apologized to Britney Spears. So Britney Spears, and I don't know the exact story, so correct me in the comments if I'm wrong or something, but Britney Spears cheats on Justin Timberlake with somebody. I think it's another professional dancer or some shit like that. You fucking professional dancers, I tell you. So she cheats on him with a dancer, right? And breaks the man's heart, right? So he writes the song Cry Me a River, you know? And fast forward 10, 15 years later, when all the Britney stuff happens, she comes out and says that song, when he wrote it, put her in a terrible mental place, right? Yeah. Wow. And that's when everybody was like pro Britney, free Britney, everything like that. And the internet swarmed. I mean, they pounced on JT. And you know what JT did? He fucking apologized.
Dang.
I'm sorry for what this made you feel like. And, you know, and if you show true empathy, then great, fine. But don't apologize for the sake of the trolls.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he did. And instead of people cut him a break for apologizing, they doubled down on him. And then my girl Brittany went and wrote a book about how small the man's dick is.
Oh, no.
I was like, holy shit. No. Yo, Brittany is ruthless, and I don't know if she needs, like, she's a grown woman. She doesn't need anybody to manage her money, whatever. You're grown. If you're gonna fuck it up, go out in a blaze of glory, whatever. Yeah. But homegirl with the knives on Instagram, spinning around and shit. The funniest part of that video is the dog in the background. She has like two little poodles in it, or whatever they are, little white poodles in the background, and now she's like spinning around, spinning the knives. The dogs are like this, trying to get out the way.
Which video is it? I don't think I saw that.
You have not seen this video? She has two butcher knives, and she's just dancing around in circles, just, you know, doing her thing, dancing in the foyer of her house, and the internet goes off. Like, somebody makes the cops go over there and do like a wellness check on her because she put it on Instagram, and then that was it. And then she did it again like a week later because she got so much engagement, you know. Yeah.
Wow.
You know, so she does it again. And then the comment, she's like, these aren't real knives. This is a Halloween costume. And, but it's so funny how the dog is like kind of dodging the knives in the background. It's so funny. And then one of the biggest costumes from this Halloween was Britney.
Really?
That costume, because all she had was underwear, like a little, like a, I guess it would be like a tube top or something showing the midriff, and two fake knives. Boom. Man. Easiest costume, $12 costume. Yeah. Come get it.
Man.
Easy.
Did you, speaking of Halloween costumes, Ozzy Osbourne and Sharon Osbourne, did you see their Halloween costume this year? It was Kanye and his wife. So funny. Ozzy was dressed in like all black, completely covered, and then Sharon just had like whatever, like leggings and a pillow cover her front. Oh my God. Kanye.
Oh, easy. God, you know that it's bad when you can be your own Halloween costume. Just go out. You're dressed. Congratulations,
man. What happened to Kanye? Like he was on top of the world, and now he's a pariah.
I don't know. Ye's still on top of the world. I think he's just doing it in his own way. Like, definitely, yeah, a lot of things happen with Ye. Like, his mom died, and, you know, you can't go through that without some damage. And not only that, but the PTSD from just growing up in Southside Chicago. Yeah. You know, that's rough. And then, you know, the car accident and the meds, and then the Kim Kardashian thing with the kids. And I mean, that should have run anybody crazy. The problem, and it's okay that he deal with that stuff and is able to deal with that and go through the process. The problem is that the media, that's the last motherfucker you throw a microphone in the face of.
Yeah.
Because he's going to say the craziest shit.
Oh my God.
And whatever he's thinking at the time, no matter how crazy it is, he's going to say it. And I think it's just one of those things to where he's definitely his own worst enemy, but also society is taking advantage of the fact that this is a sick person.
Yeah.
He's a sick dude. Same thing with R. Kelly. I remember it was a cartoon called The Boondocks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I used to love that cartoon. Loved it, man. Regina King was the voice of like both kids. And there was an episode about R. Kelly and how sick R. Kelly was. I mean, this was years ago. Yeah. How sick R. Kelly was, and as soon as it started to come out, he would drop another song, and people would forget about how crazy R. Kelly was. And one of the little boys, Huey, I think it was, he was like, "What's wrong with you people? Don't you know R. Kelly's sick?"
Yeah.
And every time you forget about that, every time he drops a top 40 hit. And I think it's the same thing with Kanye. Kanye is just, he's in a position to where he influences a lot of fucking people.
Yeah.
And sometimes not for the best stuff. And he'll drop an album and people forget that last week he was, dressing up, covering his whole fucking head up. And but I mean, as far as star power though, very few people has Kanye star power.
Yeah.
This dude rented out the Mercedes-Benz Dome in Atlanta for, what was it, 13 nights, 13 days, and had an album preview concert. So he would go on the floor of the arena, sold out, and just let the album that he was already going to release play. And made like $13 million. Like
wow.
13, it might have been more. I mean, that's just off of people buying tickets. He was selling merch. He was, doing other shit. I mean, he killed, and he didn't even do a concert.
Wow.
He just went down there, danced a little bit, let the track run,
and got paid.
Yep. And then the track comes out a week later, and people still buy the shit.
Yeah.
We just heard it. We just heard it. You can download it.
Wow.
It's crazy, man. Ye got star power.
Yeah.
And he's a powerful figure. I want him to be healthy, him personally, because a mentally healthy Kanye has so much power to change so many things. You know what I'm saying? And I hope that for him. Fuck the entertainment value.
Yeah.
He's going to be entertaining regardless.
Yeah.
I want to see him be entertaining for the right reasons. I want to hear that good music.
Yeah.
I want Mercy. I want that Kanye. I want Graduation. I want that. I want all the dope shit that he made, man. But, and he's still making good music. It's just what's going on in his head at the time might not translate over to what the best music would be at the time. You know, sometimes you just gotta just jive, just flow.
Yeah, when he tried to do the whole political run and be president and all that, people just laughed at him. You just I don't know. Did he step out of his lane and lose credibility and likability?
That was a fucking smoke screen. That was manic. Yeah. That was some shit. I mean, would you vote for Kanye?
No.
Even
maybe.
Even a level-headed Kanye. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know if I would vote for Kanye. I don't think I would. I love your music, bro.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want your hand anywhere close, your finger anywhere close to the button.
Yeah. That whole, the whole political world as a whole, I don't know.
Yeah,
that's a whole other topic.
Yeah. I stay far from away from it, man. But the one thing I will say is that, especially for people in our position, if you're a business owner or aspire to be a business owner, or you're trying to build a corporation, LLC, anything, you can't be 100% left and you can't be 100% right. You have to be moderate. You have to find a middle ground that speaks to you for what's best for you, for your company and things like that. You can't be one or the other.
Yeah. Well, and that's the one thing I love about our business is we have there's nothing that we gain or there's nothing that we will feel in our business that will gain or lose if we go one way or the other, I guess, because it's we need to stay focused on our clientele, what's best for them.
Right.
And what we offer is sanity escape. I mean, it's more than just like learning how to like steps. I mean, we're developing a community that we have all like-minded, that we love dancing, we love like just being around one another. So why mess it up by like being this or that? Like it's man, there ain't enough time for that.
It's not, man. It's like being what do you say? Bartenders never talk about religion, politics, or what's the other thing? Money. 3 things that bartenders should never talk about, because those are always going to be very sensitive topics, and no 2 people feel alike about it.
Yeah.
You know, so we just consider ourselves like bartenders.
Yeah.
You know,
pretty
seriously.
much. Yeah.
Man.
I do want to report that to our viewers, that I have finished Loki.
Finally.
And Ahsoka. And I watched the new Transformers.
Oh, yeah.
And the second Spider-Verse animated movie, Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse.
Across the Spider-Verse, yeah.
Freaking good.
Yeah.
Must see.
Oh, it is one of the best movies of 2023.
Yeah.
For sure.
So you saw the second one?
Oh, yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah. It's
so
really good. Really good, man. Sony doesn't do many things right when it comes to the comic book franchise stuff. But they crushed that one. I think they outsourced it, but but that one is a hit. Like ever since Miles Morales character was introduced, I've been a fan. So it was awesome. It was good.
So good. So good. And I love how they left it. I love the introduction of all the other Spider-Men.
Yeah, hell yeah.
The storyboarding, the animation, the music, how they portrayed, I just forgot her name.
Gwen Stacy,
Spider-Girl.
Spider-Gwen.
Spider-Gwen.
Yeah.
Dope. So good.
Yeah, man.
So good.
It was a great movie, and Rise of the Beast was good too.
Yeah.
Man. That was awesome. That was my favorite Transformers movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, like doing the whole 80s, like the Wu-Tang, like that throwback type of feel. And I dug it. And then leaving it open for the G.I. Joe thing.
G.I. Joe, I know. That was the thing that I lost my mind about. I was like, because the G.I. Joe franchise was kind of dropped for a little bit. And now they're reintroducing it. And I liked how they portrayed Optimus as kind of like a pessimistic, like he lost hope. And then he just kind of got it back. And it was good. It was good writing.
I'm kind of, and that was the one thing that kind of bothers me about all the Transformers movies. Why the fuck Optimus got to get his ass kicked every movie before?
Time.
It's like in the cartoons back in the 80s, like, you know, old cats like me, Optimus was that dude. Like nobody was fucking with Optimus. And every movie he gets either murdered or killed off before he comes back. Like he got to come back for some shit. Like sometimes I don't want to see my heroes come back from shit. I just want you to be a beast from Jump Street. Yeah, just fucking people up.
Yeah,
Because you like, if you think you have a chance, you're going to keep fucking with him. Like there's a 50-50 chance I'm going to kill Optimus. Yeah, and then the world is mine.
Yeah.
I want to see Optimus just murk people from jump and not worry about having to come back from you know, adversity.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I thought it was a cool way to introduce Optimus Primal.
Like,
that was kind of cool to see that whole character develop, because I was a huge fan of Beast Wars. Yeah, I love Beast Wars. It was awesome. Yeah.
I watched a few episodes of Beast Wars. I would watch it when it was on type thing. I wasn't a huge fan of it, but I was versed enough to like appreciate it when it did happen, you know? So, so I hope they do a sequel. I hope they do it. Stop the rebooting shit.
Yeah.
Just find something that works, or if it doesn't work, make it work. Yeah. You know, just keep, same thing like Fast and Furious. I know I keep going back to Fast and Furious, but they don't care if those movies are shit.
Yeah.
They just
pushing well.
Because you had the first one, which was banging, and then you had the second one, wasn't as good. People gave Tokyo Drift a hard time. Now people kind of like Tokyo Drift now. And like, there's some that work better than others. Like 4, based in Brazil, that was awesome. But then they started going like to London. People didn't like that one as much. But now it's like when you go back and watch all of them, you just appreciate them for what they are. The differences in I love Tokyo Drift now.
Yeah,
I think that's one of my favorite movies in the franchise, man. At the beginning when he's driving that 70 something Monte Carlo, that motherfucker is bad as shit, man. And he's plowing through the house, he flips that bitch over. This shit is cool, man.
I'll tell you, I was tempted. I didn't do it. I was tempted to watch it. They had it on American Airlines, Fast and Furious 10 or X or whatever.
Yeah. You should have watched it.
But I got Transformers and Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's a great movie, man. Jason Momoa made that movie awesome. Yeah, the movie was dope in general, but yeah, Jason Momoa is he's the villain in that movie. So yeah, man. Crown Jewel was this past weekend. WWE Crown Jewel. Yeah. That was their big going back to having fuck you money.
Yeah,
Saudi Arabia has fuck you money.
Yeah,
they had the Francis Ngannou and Tyson Fury fight over there, and then a week later they have Crown Jewel, and they put so much money into these events, man. You should see the build out of these arenas, man. It's ridiculous. And the one thing that all the superstars say is that they've never been treated better. It was an experience just before they even got out there. It was dope. It was a good show. Everything kind of happened the way I expected it to happen. Yeah. Sami Zayn, because Sami Zayn is Muslim, and because he's a lot of people don't know that because he has the thick red ginger beard and he's from Canada and everything, but he is, and so he started out the show. So you're gonna get that pop anyway, and with Sammy just already being a fan favorite. And let me see. You had the one thing that is kind of weird. It's not weird. It's their culture is what it is. All the women have to be covered from neck to ankle. So they wear these hot ass full body suits, and it doesn't look like they mind too much. It look like they move pretty well in it. I know that shit got to be hot though. But Rhea Ripley. Fatal 5-way match with all those girls, with Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark, Nia Jax, Raquel Rodriguez, and then Rhea retains. We all expected that. And then you had Cody, Damian Priest. Oh, go back. We had Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre lost. Everybody, again, no one expect that title to drop, but Damian Priest tried to cash in his Money in the Bank title while Seth Rollins was all jacked up. Sami Zayn comes out in a hoodie and stops him from doing it. And that, so Sami Zayn is kind of taking this mission on just single-handedly dismantling the Judgment Day. So I'll be interested to see how that storyline goes over the next couple months leading up to the Royal Rumble. We had Cody Rhodes, Damian Priest. Again, as expected, Damian Priest loses, drops to, or not drops, but loses the match to Cody. Cody goes on to win, and now people are kind of wondering how you're going to put Cody and Roman Reigns back together. You could have him win the Royal Rumble again. I think having Cody win the Royal Rumble again could get some fans to turn on him. It's God, no one's that great, so yeah. I think if you put him in top 3, because the Royal Rumble, are you familiar with the Royal Rumble?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so if you put him in top 3 and make him fight all the way through and win and just have a barn burner, then I think that kind of cements that respect that the fans have for Cody. And so then you can start building out the story with him and Roman. And then finally, Roman Reigns beats LA Knight. LA Knight's getting a huge push, but nobody expected him to beat Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is that dude right now. He's like the Mike Tyson of professional wrestling. He wrestles 3 times a year. And he just, he's just, the storylines that are being built out are so good that we are in a time that's unprecedented. You don't have to have your champion wrestle and defend the championship often in order for people to stay engaged. And that's what the writers at WWE are doing right now is pretty cool to watch. That whole the bloodline extension thing with Jay going over to Raw, and kind of Sami Zayn kind of still doing this thing. Jay and Sami are still friends, and then over here at SmackDown, Jimmy Uso is probably the funniest motherfucker I've ever seen, dude. His along with the writing and him putting his own spin on everything that's happening, he's hilarious, man. And I think it's gonna translate into him getting more like main event spots. And then of course Roman, I feel like you have to have Roman drop to Cody at WrestleMania. You can't have that happen again. So we'll see. It was a good event. It was no surprises. It was kind of one of those things to help cultivate the relationship between the WWE and Saudi Arabia. They actually have another event going on as early as January. So, wow. And that again, that money that they have, like, there's oil in the ground, bro.
Yeah,
there's money on the table.
Yeah.
There's money on the table. So, and they are just like taking full advantage, man.
Yeah, they're getting really involved in American sports.
Yeah, they are. Yes, golf.
Yeah.
The UFC with Endeavor and with now the WWE, or that whole thing as a collective. I heard that it's difficult for them to get TV deals, so they're just buying the space. Yeah, and usually that's not how it has to go down. Usually, like, there's some sponsorship money in there involved, and it helps these promotions get the televised space that they need, but they're having a harder time getting it. And they're like, fuck it.
Yeah.
We'll just pay out of pocket.
Yeah.
And they have it. They have the money.
It's like they're following China's model. They're just buying everything up.
Buy it up.
Because isn't China like bought the NBA, or like
is it?
I don't know. They're really involved with the NBA now, or is the idea there's like a lot of controversy about that?
I did hear that. I don't remember if it's China or Korea. I want to say it's China. They are one of the largest real estate owners in America.
Yeah. We're I think one of the states. It's a female governor. She said that China, they have to give back the land that they bought. So there's some pushback.
Oh shit! Yeah, you can't have it.
Can't have it.
You can't have it. Yeah, man. The whip of the week.
Whip of the week.
Week of the week. So this is an oldie but a goodie. Never goes out of style. The whip of the week is the 2023 BMW M3. Now, if you ever driven a BMW, what's their motto? Like, this is a true driving experience, or something like that. That shit is true. My son actually has an older version of this car. He has a 2013 or 14 M3, and I drove his car. I love that car. That thing is nimble. It's one of those things that like whips you around corners. It's like it's tight to the road. Suspension is stiff. I mean, it's just a cool car. The 2023 version has somewhere between 473 and 503 horsepower, depending on what trim level you get. Top speed of 172 miles an hour, which is, for a car, that light. I mean, that thing is like a bullet. Yeah. It's a bullet down the road. The available engine in the 2023 is a 3.0 liter BMW twin power turbo inline six. So, like, having an inline six motor is just like, you just got so much better like distribution. And with the airflow, it just depends on how much airflow you have. I mean, there's so many ways to doll up the intake on these cars. I mean, you can have a top speed car 180 easily. They're pretty, when you talk about, semi-exotic sports cars. Yeah. I mean, you can't get, you're starting off at $74,000, which is pretty consistent with inflation of what a BMW costs. If you get all the bells and whistles, you're talking about 82 grand. So,
yeah. I saw a YouTube video of this guy. He raced the M3 against a 911, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
And they talked about price difference for like how fast it is. So the 911? But the BMW beat it 2 out of 3 times.
Really?
Yeah.
Beat a Porsche 911.
Porsche 911.
Turbo?
Turbo,
911 turbo? Shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, shit. That's all you need to know right there.
Yeah.
And you're spending 30, 40 grand less.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shit.
But they're but it's like they're I don't know how good of a race it was, because like the one guy, like, you know, off the start, like it's also operator, like, if do you know when to shift, how to I'm pretty sure it was the 911.
Yeah.
But it was like a car that was like, I know it was the M3 versus a car that was, I got to double check it, but
do you drive manual?
Yeah.
Can you like so do you prefer an automatic? Like if you had 2 cars, let's just say, because I know this has been a big debate with the Aston Martin DB9, manual, automatic, which one are you going with?
Manual 100 times.
100%.
Yeah.
Now, do you think you perform better than someone who's driving the automatic in the manual? Like if you're driving head to head, and you know the automatic has like the
paddle
quick paddle shift.
Yeah.
And you got to go through the gears. You know what I'm saying? Do you think you would be able to outperform as a driver the guy that's driving that automatic?
I think somebody who's can drive manual really well will outperform for sure.
Really?
You're in more control and you feel more of the car. And granted, you're going up against a computer.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, well, the experience. I'd rather have the experience of a manual. Like, I'd rather know that I'm in control. But I know, and I'm going to say it is the 911, but there was a feature on this car that when he kicked it in, it ended up beating the BMW. So it controlled the airflow. But yeah, you know, for me, it's like, it's about the experience. What, do you drive a manual?
I can.
Yeah.
But I prefer automatic.
Yeah.
I do, like, because I do feel like the car is gonna be able to outperform the driver, you know. So
yeah.
And now I'm not talking like I mean paddle shift. You know, if I do prefer that than, you know, stick on the floor,
Yeah.
you know, going through the gears, because I just feel like that is just way more efficient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The I don't know, man. Like it's the manual. So let's say, for instance, NASCARs are not automatic.
Mm-mm. Oh yeah, there's only 2 gears. It's like 4 in reverse, right? Or I think it's, or maybe 3. It's like first, second, and then reverse, I believe.
Oh really?
Yeah. There's not a lot of gears in a NASCAR.
What about Formula cars? One of the things when I was leaving Vegas, they're getting ready for the Formula 1 race, and the main strip they're setting it up for the Formula cars. So those are all automatic.
Okay.
Or no, those are all manual.
All manual. Yeah.
So I don't know, like from a performance standpoint, like it's based on the driver, the experience of the driver. It's the same thing like with fighter jets. Like, would you rather have like a pilot in the fighter jet or all computer controlled?
Shit, I don't know. I mean, you ever seen that movie Stealth?
Yeah, I did.
The plane will fuck you up every time, dude.
Yeah,
because the computer has like, there's no error, right? Unless the computer breaks down.
Yeah.
There, I mean, that's the biggest argument, that the computer could malfunction and then cause something. But if the computer is functioning the way it's supposed to, there's no error.
Yeah,
right. So,
but it only knows what it knows that's been programmed. So it's like going back to like cars and driving. It's like you can go off of instinct. You don't have to go through programming. Like it's only limited to. I mean, AI is getting better, so it can problem solve. But I don't know.
I guess the question is your instinct always the right thing to do in that given situation? You know, like like especially when you talk about a car, overcorrecting, undercorrecting, things like that. You know, like shifting when you hear, when you right before you redline, that's when you boom hit it, and you go up to the next gear, right? We know that, but is that optimum? is maybe like once we get a little bit closer to that 6 RPMs, you know, 7 is that better? You know, I just don't know. So
did you see Ford versus Ferrari, the movie?
I did.
Yeah. Where he talks about the RPMs and getting to what I think he got to 7,000 or something like that. But that was a good movie. Talking about a great movie. Talking about the drivers, like you got to be. Can you imagine like going that fast and like seeing or like guys on what is it like the supercross, not supercross, what is it like the motorcycle race that they do?
Oh, the
super.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
those guys are
motocross, or whatever it is.
Well, yeah, but that's like you're going like 200 some odd miles an hour on a bike,
and then they lean into that shit. They fucking scraping the concrete and the asphalt. Yeah, crazy. You gotta have like fucking like nerves of steel for that shit, man.
But definitely in the comments, right? In the comments, manual or automatic.
Yeah, and and also I guess it comes down to what you want to drive too.
Yeah,
like do you really want to be like shifting? Want to tank something big, But I do feel like it will be a way better and more fun experience than something that is like a stereotypical like supercar or sports car, right? Yeah. So
like in my Jeep, I don't want like you can get manual, but I'm not going to go off roading with a manual transmission.
Yeah, no, hell no. Yeah.
I want the computer to figure that out.
Hell yeah. So
cool, man.
Well, that has been another edition. Thank you guys. I just want to take a second to thank you. So last Sunday when I woke up, we had 30 subscribers. As of right now, we're up to 750 subscribers. So within a week. So thank you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing on all platforms, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We are very appreciative and we're glad. We thought we were just up here talking shit for no reason. We're glad that you guys are actually listening and enjoying the bullshit we got to say.
Yeah.
So on behalf of Taras and myself, Antoine, the Juggernaut Brett, we want to say thank you again. Any last words? Send us off. What?
No, I'm good. I'm going to follow up on that. Just saying, thanks. Keep on clicking and liking, and if you feel like you have people that will enjoy it, feel free to share.
Tell your friends about it. You can follow me once again on Antoine the Juggernaut on Instagram, Antoine Brett on Facebook, the Juggernaut on TikTok.
Cool.
I'm talking now. I'm TikToking.
I know we were just talking about like I've made a video on Instagram, and the platform to actually make videos is not. It's not DaVinci Resolve. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, definitely try TikTok. I think you'll have a better effect.
But cool, man.
All right, y'all. Peace.